It's the episode we have all been waiting for. Josiah and I are going to predict what we think Will Levis will do in the season of 2024. Welcome in to another episode of the Titan Bros. Welcome in, bro.
Hey, thanks. Let's get into this.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to be a little bit more thorough with this one because obviously with our last video we talked about wide receivers and we did five or six receivers, wide receiver stats, and then the one before that we did 2 tight ends and 2 running backs. This one, it's all about one player, but obviously whether you like it or whether you hate it, the quarterback is the most important position on the team.
Yep.
So bad quarterback, no matter how good your team is, you're not going to make a Super Bowl run. And a bad team with a elite quarterback, there's always a chance. Not for a Super Bowl run necessarily, but at least you can actually have a winning record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who your quarterback is because I think Mahomes could be put on any of the 32 teams and try to maybe win a Super Bowl.
That's true. That's true. Imagine if we had Patrick Mahomes throwing to Calvin Ridley, DeAndre, Watt. I was going to say DeAndre Watkins. What am I saying? We haven't made a video in a while because last Sunday was Father's Day, so we were celebrating Father's Day and we didn't get a chance to make a video, so I'm out of the loop. I'm saying DeAndre Watkins. I don't even know who that is. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sure there's a DeAndre Watkins somewhere in this world. We ain't talking about him, though. And Patrick Mahomes will not be throwing him the ball. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and jump right on into these predictions. We're going to do a show at a later time, probably a week or two before the season, where I'm going to make we're both going to come up with some bold predictions. And that prediction is going to be different than what I'm actually making as a prediction right here. Because the first thing we're going to talk about is yards. I'm going to go ahead and spoil my bold prediction that I'm not going to jump into today, but I'm sure I've already told you this before, but the Tennessee Titans have never had a 4,000-yard passer. And that will be one of my bold predictions just to see if it can happen. But since I'm actually in a competition with you with these predictions, I'm trying to be realistic. I think he makes a push for it, but where it's never in reach, like when there's 4 weeks left, it's not necessarily in reach. But he's close. I have him at 3,800 yards.
Good. It's funny you said that.
I think we're going to throw the rock around way more than we're ever used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I agree with you. And I do think we're going to throw a lot. So that's going to be a lot more yards to have here. And it's funny, I actually went over what you predicted. And I said, you're going to think, oh, that's lame because then your bold prediction isn't so bold. I said 4,058 yards.
I mean, it's kind of bold, but at the same time, it's very, you can picture it. And plus, the dude likes to throw the ball around.
He likes to throw the ball around.
He loves throwing the ball deep.
We're going to be throwing the ball around as a team. We're going to do that a lot more than running the ball. I think we're just going to look more like modern offense because 4,000 yards throwing is not a ridiculously hard, tough thing to do in today's NFL. This getting to the 5,000 is more tough. So, there's no reason to say he can't get 4,000 yards because there's a lot of stuff that you can be a little scared about with Will Levis, his accuracy, his picks, and stuff like that. But he likes to chunk the ball, so I'm sure he's going to get yards. I feel like that's something I can be. I feel comfortable with saying. So I'm going to say 4,058 yards.
Here's the thing. It's not as extreme as you would think. To throw for 4,000 yards in a season, you need to throw for 236 yards a game. Yeah. And that's not insane.
What's funny, though, is for most teams, that's not insane. Now, Titans, we never did that much.
Let's say, whether or not you love Tannehill, whether or not you were a believer in Mariota, we just didn't throw the ball enough. Patrick Mahomes couldn't throw for 4,000 yards in our old offenses because when you only throw the ball, literally some games would just be 16 pass attempts. Where I'm like, who does that in 2024 or whatever year it was? But anyways, so there's the yards. And again, whether he's good, whether he's bad, whether his completion percentage is good or not, because that's what we're about to talk about next, I do see, barring health, all of this is barring health.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of yards. More than we're used to anyway. So go ahead and let you start us off with accuracy.
So with completion percentage, this is up from what he had last year. It's still in today's NFL probably a little more on the lower side. But I said that I think that's the kind of quarterback he is. But I'm gonna say 61%.
It's funny you should say that. We're stepping in the same thing here. I said 62. We're that close to having the exact same
I would
number.
feel more comfortable with 62. In today's NFL, people are pushing that more and more and more. And even higher than that, obviously. But I'm gonna say 61. That is an improvement of what he had last year. So I'll take it. But I still think he's going to have just, some games where he's just going to be 55% completions and stuff like that. And it's going to, not be as high as we would like. But
here's the thing. With him liking to just air the ball out and just go crazy and aggressive, there's just not the dump offs. And the dump offs will give you a lot of accuracy. I can remember some games Mariota would be very high accuracy, but that's because he's dumping off the running back all day. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like he'll throw 18 passes. Yeah. He'll be 14 of 18. That's really good accuracy, but then he only has 120 yards, So
it's hard to, if you consistently throwing the ball downfield, it's hard to do that and be 65, 66 percent completions. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. But I will say for both of these numbers, I would be okay with if he's 3,800 and 62% accuracy.
Yeah.
I would like to see his accuracy go up a little more, but it's an improvement over last year, step in the right direction. And things could be sloppy at first because new literally everything. Yeah. Next, let's go ahead and jump. We're going through this way too quickly, so we might have to just jump into just something about Will Levis once we're done here because we've only got touchdowns and picks left and we're only 5 minutes in or whatever. Touchdowns. I wanted to say more, but I'm trying to beat you and not trying to be positive. I put him at 25 touchdowns.
Okay.
I would like to say that's going to be more. If he's healthy and he's actually a starting caliber quarterback, I would love to say more than that. But I think there was only, 4 quarterbacks who threw for over 30 touchdowns last year. Is that a wild stat?
Well, I would say, back in the day that wasn't. Back in the day that 30 touchdowns was a very tough thing to get, but that's getting more and more easy to do. Also, a lot of quarterbacks like to get hurt and miss a game or two and stuff like that, and that will mess you up for that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would if he was pushing 28 to 30, that would make me really happy because then we have our guy. In my opinion, if he's throwing 28 touchdowns, unless he does the Jameis Winston thing and has 30 interceptions as well, unless he does something like that, then you would say looks like we have our franchise guy for now. But again, everything's new, and I would not be surprised if we start off 0-4, which maybe is something we can jump into later. I wouldn't be surprised if we start off 0-4 because everything's new. New play caller, new offense, new almost everything, minus Hopkins and Chig, basically, on offense. So it might be a slow start, and then we end the season 7-3 with the last 10 games, and then we're like, but we missed the playoffs and everything and whatnot. And like, okay, it gives us something to be excited for the next season because that's all we ever need. But I'm going to sit there and say 25 touchdowns just to start things off.
I got 27. I feel like, though, if 27, you start getting in that neighborhood where you feel good about your quarterback. You know what I mean? If your quarterback throws 27 touchdowns, you're okay with that, I think. And that may be a little high because the reason I say that is because, I'm not sure if I'm sold on Will Levis yet. But again, if he does throw 27 touchdowns, I think I'm going to be happy with what, I'm going to be happy with his performance. But I'm going to say 27. Could be a little high, but that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, now I know I'm making a lot of Marcus Mariota comparisons in this video, but we're just comparing to other Titans quarterbacks. Mariota's best year was 26 touchdowns, and he never broke 20 even before or after that.
That's odd to me. 26, that's his second year, so improvement, and then just never sniffed the 20 again.
Ever since he broke his leg, he just acted like a completely different cat. But yeah, so I'd be happy with 27. Well, for example, Trevor Lawrence has never thrown 27. His best season, he only did 25, and he's making $275 million in this new contract, which is insane. But so yeah, again, I would be content. Or like the huge season that Stroud had. Admittingly, he had. I think he only was it 23 touchdowns?
Yeah, 27 might be high, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, but I do think we're gonna toss that dang rock around, bro.
Not to mention, we don't really have running backs that you just like throw it in one, we'll just slam it down the middle like you do with Derrick Henry. So there's gonna be more options there for him to throw touchdowns.
Yeah, it's 23 touchdowns C.J. Stroud last year. But yeah, I do agree with you. If we were within the 10-yard line or closer, we just ran.
Yeah.
Like we gave. And this was even Tannehill when Tannehill was on fire. We just ran. That's just what we did if we were in the. And I feel like that's where Derrick Henry loved to have like 17-yard touchdown runs.
Yeah.
I don't know if something about him seeing that end zone gave him that extra juice or what it was, but he loved those like 15 to 17-yard touchdown runs. So our quarterback never even got the chance. All right, I'll go ahead and let you lead the way with interceptions.
Interceptions. This, for a lot of people is high, but if he's 27 touchdowns and then this picks, I can live with it. But I'm gonna say 11 picks.
Okay.
Some
You
people
actually
say
go ahead.
Some people think if you try to get that double digits, that's a little high, and I agree. But I would say this: my quarterback is 27 and 11. I can live with that.
That's a fantastic season. That's what I'd say. This is the most positive I've ever seen you be a quarterback since Rusty Smith, probably.
Okay, for people that doesn't know, which is probably obvious, for some reason I always pretend like Rusty Smith was the guy. He was the star that was just wasting his talent on the bench.
Yep, old redhead, long neck rascal. But yeah, so yeah, if he breaks 4,000 yards, has 27 touchdowns to 11 picks, we got our guy.
Yeah,
Either that or Brian Callahan is a genius. Which hopefully both. Because I have his picks. Go ahead.
I went high, like the best scenario on every single thing. Like, because I was like, I said 27, like, but I could see it being more 24, 25. But I'm going to go 27. With picks, I said 11. For some reason, 13 sounded good to me. I'm like, I'm going to do 11. And then the 4,000 yards, it might be more like 37 or 38. But I shot a little high in each one. And then, like, when you put it together, like, oh, that's a good stat sheet.
So basically, you predict what I said, because I did say 13 picks.
Yeah.
Where I'm like 25 touchdowns and 13 picks with 3,800 yards. That's basically what you're like. That's what I actually think he's going to do. I actually wrote these numbers down instead. But yes, I do see a way where he could throw 30 touchdowns. I do see where he could break 40 or 4,000 yards. I do see a world for sure. Especially Calvin Ridley's just another deep threat, an explosive wide receiver. His dump offs, instead of it being Derrick Henry catching it flat foot and getting smacked at the line, instead you got Tony and Tajay. You can turn just a little, just dump it off real quick, and then suddenly they're 15 yards up the field. So these could absolutely be improvements, but the fact that I saw it as a competition is why I went a little more conservative with the numbers. So hope you're right. This is one I would love to lose. I hope
I would definitely make those picks go higher because he did have a problem with trying to throw picks that people couldn't catch. But so that the picks could be a little higher than 11, but I'm gonna keep it where it's at.
Yeah, I see a lot of Josh Allen and Carson Wentz.
I do too.
Those two guys who, even when they were playing elite seasons, they liked, especially Josh Allen, liked to have those picks kind of.
Yeah, and Josh Allen is a good quarterback, but he's not afraid to throw picks, and he never was going to be a guy that's 66, 67 completion percentage.
No,
you know what I mean? So, yeah. And if he plays like Josh Allen, I'm happy because, granted, he doesn't run like Josh Allen, though.
Yeah, now Josh Allen, that's one of the things that make Josh Allen so good is he's just such a good runner. So it's just like for no reason, he had like 70 or 80 yards rushing in a game. I'm like, oh, so you're one of those guys now. But yeah, if we can get him as a thrower to be a Josh Allen, in my opinion, that means he's our franchise guy.
Yeah.
So
now, and all this is also, like you said earlier, depends on health, because I'm scared about Will Levis' health. I really am. Because technically, I'll just say this: he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. In college, he's got hurt, banged up several times, and then his NFL career was it true? Yeah, he was hurt in training camp, right? Hurt all through training camp, then he got hurt in regular season. So, granted, you, me, and other Titans fans may not be talking about that enough. Can he stay healthy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're talking about it, or don't have to talk about it anymore. But here's the thing, though. I feel like the NFL is getting where people play less and less and less full seasons.
No, I agree with that, which is so weird because quarterbacks can't be touched anymore, but then they get hurt all the time.
Yeah, I think that might be just all positions.
Let me say something that's not important, but I was saying that Josh Allen has never, he's not a 65, 66 completion percentage, and that actually is a lie because he had a year with 69% completion, and he had 66. 69?
Are we liars?
What?
I said, are we liars?
I guess, but 69, that's really incredibly awesome.
Well, his career, though, is at 63.
Yeah.
So his career-wise, he's about where we had him.
Granted, every year he's been 10-plus picks except for one.
Yeah, and that's the nature of Joshua Allen.
But again, I can deal with 12 picks if you're throwing me 37 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Will Levis might be like poor man's Josh Allen. And I would say this: Will Levis is not afraid to run, and then try to stiff arm a guy or run over somebody and make Mike Vrabel mad. But I would say Will Levis. I like some of the fire on his belly, but he's got to be smart. Because sometimes I think that fire on his belly makes him not smart. So
Yeah, because remember when he threw that pick to the lineman against the Dolphins, the guy's basically on the goal line, ready to just take one half step, and he's in the end zone, and Will Levis just runs away and just runs into him and just splats because the guy was like 350 pounds. So I'm like, what were you trying to do there? Actually, he just got interviewed a couple days ago, and he talked about that play. And he says what he was trying to do is hoping that his helmet would hit the ball or something to make it pop out. But at the same time, you just threw your throwing shoulder into a 350-pound D lineman.
That is something to watch out for. Can Will Levis be smart? But again, you also got to like the fire on his belly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that. He's crazed. I'm sure you remember all the faces he was making after that last touchdown.
Do you remember that pick he threw against the Colts, I think it was, and then he not chased the guy down, but he went over and made the tackle, which made the guy fumble, and then he picked it up.
He picked it up, and then he ran it. They ended up down, which I think was the right call. But yeah, then he picked up and just ran with it all the way to the end zone. Like, well, that was a crazy play. You threw in one play. If he hadn't gotten touched, and one play he'd have one attempt. It was picked, right? Yeah. So 0 for 1 on the passing, 1 INT, 1 tackle, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and about 50 yards rushing with a touchdown. Like, you just filled up your entire stat sheet with that one play.
Yeah.
But yeah, you like to see that. You like to see that.
Don't like to see
he's not Jay Cutler.
No, he's not.
Don't throw the pick.
Yeah, so he does a lot. Will Levis is such a there's a lot to like. What is it?
Polarizing.
Yeah, there's just a lot to like, and there's a lot to be weary of, So we just have to see.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if he ends up being hurt a lot, or putting the ball in the dirt a lot, or putting the ball in the other team's hands a lot, those are things that I'm worried about.
Yeah,
but then there's a lot of upside with this guy too.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm afraid? What happens if this is a possibility? What if he plays really well and he ends up being skill-wise a good quarterback, but then like this one time he gets hurt, he misses 2 games, and later on the season he gets hurt, he misses 3 games, and so you're just like, he played well, but he just missed 5 games, 2 different separate injuries, And then what do you do with that? What do you do with that?
I mean, that's a good question. It is a good question. Let's be honest. That's kind of what early days, and here I go talking about him again, but early days of Marcus Mariota, because his rookie season, he threw 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, but he had an MCL, I think it was MCL, sprain or strain, missed 2 games, came back, played some more games, 3 or 4 or 5 more games, and then he did it again and missed the last 2. And then his second year, he stayed healthy the whole year, playing some dang good football, broke his leg, missed the last couple of games of the season. And then the next year is when he came back and had like the 13 touchdowns with 15 interceptions. And then he was just in and out and in and out. But it was slowly just kind of souring. We're like, this isn't the guy. But yeah, I mean, I understand we've been in this situation before, so I don't know. It's going to be tough.
We always have injury-prone quarterbacks. Vince Young, Jake Locker, Marcus Mariota, maybe Will Levis.
Tannehill's last 2 years.
Yeah, Tannehill's last 2 years.
Because he missed in 2022, remember, he missed 2 games with an ankle sprain. Came back, and then he re-sprained his ankles and missed the last 2 games, I think, because then Josh Dobbs had to end up trying to get us in the playoffs. And then last year, he hurt himself against the Ravens, and that's when he got benched. So he even ended up being injury prone.
So we can't have quarterbacks stay healthy.
No. And a lot of that has to do with O-line, though.
Yeah.
Just getting blindsided from that left tackle spot was just insane. Like, I heard a stat that said the left tackle position for the Titans last year, just left tackle, 29 sacks.
That's ridiculous. I will say and I know he's a late round pick. I was really hoping we had something out of Duncan.
I did
too. He was
bad, he was awful. Actually, he was technically number-wise, he was worse than Andre Dillard.
Which is crazy. Think about it. Duncan, Dillard, Daly. What's going on here? I mean, this is the worst left tackle play you've ever seen. They're
Which makes me wonder, the
back.
backup tackles and the practice squad tackles, why are they even your backups in your practice squad? Because if these guys are actually worse than the people you're marching out onto the field,
Yep.
like, what are we doing?
That's some
That was
terrible.
so frustrating. Which J.C. Latham, if he ends up being league average left tackle, he's going to seem amazing to us.
Yeah.
If he only allows 12 sacks a year, we're going to say, this guy's amazing. That's all he allows, 12 for the whole year, So, which, not something we really want, but anyways, I'm trying to think if there's anything else Levis wise we want to say before we get on out of here, because this was supposed to be about Will Levis, and here we are talking about our left tackle woes, which as a Titans fan, it's hard not to talk about left tackle woes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to be excited about Will Levis. It's a little bit exciting of it being unknown, because Tannehill, you pretty well knew what Tannehill was. And we had Tannehill the last of 2019, all of 2020, all of 2021, all of 2022, all of 2020. Actually, not all of 2023, but some of 2023. So we've just basically gone into the season knowing what's up, who's at quarterback. He's going to give you, at worst, 18th best quarterback, at best, borderline top 10, even if he's not really a borderline top 10 quarterback. But he's just kind of in there. Let's put it this way. League average quarterback is basically what Tannehill was. So he wasn't going to win us the game, but he probably wasn't going to lose us the game. But let's not forget about the Bengals game and then the Saints game in week 1 last year, which was awful.
8 to 4 picks?
3 or 4, one or the other.
It was a horrible performance.
And we only got beat by 1 point. So
our defense did good.
Yeah, defense did do good. But so basically we've known what we've got with Tannehill. So this is the first time in a long time we're like, interesting. So
yeah.
Am I keeping you up?
No,
we're not even shooting one late. It's only 4:38. It's actually earlier than I thought.
I'm just an old man.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Good.
So quarterback is a question mark. We shall see. I'm hoping. Actually, I was just thinking this a couple of days ago, and I meant to say something to you, and I forgot, so I'll say it here. Callahan being new, we don't know what to predict or project, or what's what I'm looking for. What to expect, that's the one. What to expect in preseason, like what starters, how many reps are they going to get, how many drives, how many plays. We don't know. We knew Vrabel. Vrabel did not like playing people. So we knew in preseason we wasn't going to get starters. But Callahan's new, so we don't know what to expect. Have you seen anything of him saying what we're going to do with that?
I don't think so, but I think we need to let him play a little bit, because our offense especially started off so bad every single year just about under Vrabel.
Yeah.
Except for one time in 2019 against the Browns.
Yeah, we did good then.
But even then, I remember there's a pick 6, I think, from Malcolm Butler, and there was a 75-yard screen to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So even those were just some bust play. What do they call them? Not bust plays. Chunk plays. X plays. I don't know. Big plays. They were just basically big plays. It wasn't just like an efficient, well-run offense. You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah. But then all the other ones are just awful. Like when we laid the absolute egg against the Cardinals. We had that 8-hour game against the Dolphins in 2018, if you remember correctly. Then the Broncos, that was the year we had a top 3 offense. But even that week 1 match, I think when we had 16, I think we won 16-14 on Monday night against the Broncos. Then we had the Giants, where we only put up 20 points in 2022. Last year, we didn't score a single touchdown, only put up 15 against the Saints. Not good. Not good. Our offense is bad. It's not just Derrick Henry. It's Ryan Tannehill. It's everybody. Our offense looks bad every single week 1. So, yes, hopefully we can get these guys to knock off some rust and play just a couple drives. We don't need to play a quarter or 2 quarters or 3. Just a drive or 2. Just get used to getting in and out of the huddle and throwing the dang ball around. And
Yep, I agree. Yeah. And if that first drive, you put together a 12-play drive and it's score a touchdown, I'm okay. You can yank him then, Yeah. But just get some kind of chemistry with each other,
Yeah.
So we should see, but that's going to be a question mark that we should see. Again, I didn't think they would have asked him about that yet, because training camp hasn't even started yet, so he's probably not even thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, probably not. So
when does training camp start? Next month, I know, but I don't know when it's
yeah, they released the dates, but I don't know.
It's usually later, like last week into July or something like that. Nope. Yeah. So it's probably about a month away, which is exciting, because when training camp starts, you start getting more Oh, the season is not too far off. You know what I mean?
July 23rd.
Oh wow, so that's even less than a month.
Yeah.
Actually, nope. Today's June 23rd. So it's a
Gotcha.
month.
You're correct. All right. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, I don't believe so.
To make sure you comment down below, let us know your predictions for Will Levis. If you want to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking on the high end of things, this is what I'm thinking on the low end of things. But just throw in your predictions and projections as well on what you think it's going to be, because I enjoy reading the comments and giving my 2 cents. So that way we can kind of build more of a community. Make sure you're liking and you're sharing and subscribing and telling other folk to join in, because eventually we're going to want to start live streaming. And once we live streaming, we can bring live chat into it, and we can, answer questions live or have conversations live. But we just haven't got to that point yet. But the likes, the comments, the subscribes helps us get towards that. So with that being said, I guess that's all we got. So tighten up, peace out, and all that jazz.